All right, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I'm going to get the show going just a little bit earlier today, maybe a minute or two. But hey, welcome to Lions Talk Live Monday morning. We're about just a little over a week away from the start of NFL free agency on the 11th. You know what I got to say? Got some news last night. I didn't want to go on the air with it, but I figured I'd wait till the morning, keep something, tantalizing for the morning show. And as you could probably already tell from the thumbnail, Awuzie, the cornerback, he's played for the Cowboys, he played for Cincinnati Bengals. He's a man-to-man corner. He's a number one corner. At least in today's NFL, for a lot of teams, he's a number one corner. And it sounds like the Lions might just be targeting this guy. If you're not horribly familiar with him, I wouldn't be surprised. He's probably somebody, if you're not a Bengals fan or whatever, you probably didn't pay attention to him a lot. But he's got some speed, he's got some size, he tackles, he plays the run. I get why he's being considered for the Detroit Lions. The other part of the thumbnail, I'm sure you also seen, is Manuel Mosley. The team wants to bring him back. Now, play this out if this should happen. If you were to bring in both these guys, it would cost you less. And keep that right. I'm anticipating it's going to cost you less to get those two guys versus one Snead or whoever else I guess you'd go after. And I think therein lies the debate that the Lions brass and office are having about a number of different cornerbacks, potential free agents. William Fuller is on that list. I did confirm last night. So I'm going to say this. I didn't put him on the thumb just because it seems like if the Lions were to have their druthers, Awuzie would be their pick. He is, I get it. He's 6 foot. He's got some speed. He's got some size. He's like 200 pounds. He seems to be the prototypical Detroit Lion cornerback that this coaching staff wants and desires. And again, he's physical. He does a lot of good things. Manuel Mosley, I think they would be taking a chance on just because he's been with the team. He's familiar with things. They're familiar with him. And they probably can get him a little bit cheaper than most of us anticipate. Before we get going with the show in earnest today and really diving in it a ton, just a couple quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're about 55 subs or something like that away from hitting 6,000. Also, if you're enjoying the videos, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, whatever button you want to call it. Last but never least, in case you didn't know, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach/scout, been a realtor for an incredibly long time. So if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, you get the gist. Give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. It works 7 days a week. My phone's always available. If I can't answer you, you know what? Leave me a message or, like I said, a text. I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Anything from commercial property, vacant land, you get the gist. If you're outside the state of Michigan, you can still give me a call, and I'll try to work with you as best I can. All right. Welcome to Lions Talk Live. We're going to get into this. So you guys let me know your thoughts, but based on the information I acquired last night, if you were to bring in these two guys, it's probably going to cost you somewhere right around $20 million for both of them, maybe a little bit less. Think about that. Your secondary got fairly beefed up. You're probably looking at drafting, I'm guessing, at least one corner to try to slowly groom and develop. While now you have the flexibility to go after re-signing some of your own players, also being able to draft whoever you want, best player available. And I did get also some tidbit last night. I'm going to try to confirm it once or twice more before I go on air with it. But the Lions are also in this scenario, if they can make it work, they're also going to go after a defensive edge. No, it's not going to be one of the premium ones. No, it's not going to be Hunter. No, it's not going to be Burns. I did acquire a name. It's probably one most of you guys know, but they are looking to add on potentially without any trades or anything like that, one defensive end as well. And I do want to try to confirm that with at least one other source before I go on the air. All right. With all that being said now, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get to you guys and see what you got to say. JDC is kicking us off with good morning all. Good morning to you too, JDC. Moonscar, good morning, Coach Dan and the best do crew, exclamation point. Let's get us a quarterback. Yeah, and it sounds like, hey, I think we all know Brian Branch, pretty decent guy. And to be honest, Vildor and some of the other guys they kind of picked up weren't horrible. They're just not great. Sutton is not bad. and start thinking about this. Let's assume for a moment the Lions do go get Awuzie and they are able to bring in Emmanuel Mosley. To start looking at that secondary now, Sutton, Awuzie, Mosley, Branch, and on top of anybody you bring in via the draft. I mean, that's not a bad cornerback room. You may not have the elite guy out there. I get it, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get the elite guy. If Snead and one could say maybe Kendall Fuller, maybe those are two of the best free agent cornerbacks out there. What's it going to cost to acquire them? And there lies the problem. I think if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm thinking I'd rather get somebody who's similar, maybe a little bit lesser, going to cost a whole lot less, and without potentially having to give up anything in a Snead situation where you might have to give up some assets as well. And I just don't think that's what the Lions are looking to do. But I did confirm it from 3 different people that I feel good about that the Awuzie, and 2 of them confirmed they heard about Emmanuel Mosley. The third one said they had no information about that and didn't know anything about it. So that one is what it is, but I'll take 2 people that I trust over nobody I trust. Go with that. All right, Mike the Marine. Howdy, Dan. Lions faithful free agency buzz. What do you hear? And well, now you know what I'm hearing, and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Awuzie, I get he's maybe not the youngest guy. He's not old by any stretch either. But he's just one I had not considered. And when I got this info last night, just so you guys know, I think most of you watching are aware the team I coach, we're in the playoffs this week. You're allowed to go to the site of the first game or the first set of games that we will play in the playoffs, and you're allowed to shoot around or whatever. It was on the trip backwards, back to our school where I got some of the information, and you know what? It's Sunday night. It's like 8:00 at night. I sent a couple of messages out to some people. I was caught off guard by this because, Mosley, okay, I get it. He's here, yada, yada. You're familiar with him. You're trying to re-sign him and probably on a cheap contract. I get that part. But Awuzie, that caught me off guard. It's not somewhere I had anticipated it going. And with that being said, that made more sense to me once I said it out of my mouth. I was like, that is the most Brad Holmes signing ever. Somebody nobody else is considering, nobody else is talking about. And then when you start diving into the player, which, I had an hour on that bus until we got back, I started looking up every information I could, watching any video, watching his hips, watching his tackling, watching his wingspan, all that type of stuff you want to know about a cornerback. And I was like, yeah, this guy makes sense. He's probably not going to, get the biggest deal in NFL free agency. He's probably, as we've talked about on this show, and you guys have all talked about, he's probably a level below that. So whatever Snead gets, I'm guessing Awuzie is going to probably get 80% of that deal. I don't know, somewhere right around there. So from my standpoint, that seemed like a very Brad Holmes signing. All right, Hatman, good morning, Dan, Do family. Woo! The first woo of the show. There you go, Hatman, and hopefully having a great one. Detroit D, greetings and salutations to everyone. Go Lions, 1,000%. Hopefully you're having a fantastic morning, my friend. Moonscar, prayers to Brett D. Yeah, exclamation point. Hope you are feeling better. Get strong. Lions Den needs you. Yeah, and I'll have to send maybe a text or something when we're off the air. Just check up on him. But last I heard from him, he was doing okay. Just needed, about, I think he said 10 days to really just kind of rest and let his body recover. So, Brent, thoughts and prayers to you. Hope you're doing well, man. And John, good morning. Any word updates on Brent? Question mark. And looks like you got some overnight news. I did. Yep. And Brent, like I was just saying, nothing that I've heard, I think, in a day or so. But I do think he was in the show yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm guessing things are okay. Overnight news, I'm sure you guys already heard it, but let me know your guys' thoughts. Like I just said, once I dove into the guy, this really did seem like a Brad Holmes type of signing. So makes a total sense. And again, there was one defensive end, at least one of the guys said that he'd heard the Lions were going to target, but I have not been able to confirm that from anybody else. So if I get something today, later on, I'll try to get it over to you guys. All right, Boo. Good morning, Do Crew. Superdome or bust, exclamation point. Re-sign Mosley for another year at less money. Yeah, and I think that's where it sounds like they would be targeting. about a $4.5 to $5 million deal, 1 year prove it deal. Some incentives laid in there for sure. But as far as Awuzie, so what I was hearing, it would be they're anticipating it'd be about in earnest a 3 year deal, about 14 mil, maybe 12 mil a year, somewhere in that range. Snead's going to get much higher than that. Snead's probably going to be closer to, I'm going to guess 17, 18 mil a year. Maybe an argument can be made for more than that. But like I was saying at the start of the show, if Snead's somewhere in that range at least, and you're able to get Awuzie and Mosley basically for the price or cost of one Snead. And to me, the more I talked about it, went through it in my head, scenarios, that just seemed like a very Brad Holmes setup there. So let's see what you guys think, though. Hatman, even though I didn't make it live, I enjoyed the mock draft yesterday. Another great show, buddy. Hey, glad you guys all enjoy it. We'll do another one in a week or two or something like that. Probably, I'm gonna guess. Well, let's make it a couple weeks because I know a week from now we're all gonna be all over free agency. I mean, come next Sunday, we're just days away from it kicking off. Speculation's gonna pick up more and more in the next week. So I get that, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully, everybody else enjoyed it too. All right, Robert G, good morning. Dan and crew, back at you, buddy. Detroit, can't wait until free agency is over so we can have a clear view of our draft needs. Yeah, that's 1,000% correct. If some reason happens where Detroit doesn't go out and actively sign even some of the guys a step or two below the Sneads or whatever, then it really makes you think they're all in on the draft and not free agency. But again, from what I got last night, and I did confirm at least the Awuzie with all three of them. So that does sound like it's a legit source there, story. And again, it makes sense. The guy tackles, he's physical, he's good size, 6 foot, roughly 200 pounds. He's got some wheels. He does seem like the prototypical Lions player. And then when it comes to Mosley, that also seems like a Brad Holmes deal because you're able to get probably an upper level talent at less cost, unfortunately, for Manuel Mosley because of his injury history. Five Fingers, good morning, all. What are we at? Question mark. 8 days until free agency. I think it's 9, but yeah, you're basically right there. Five Fingers. All right, Hetman. Yes, sir. Detroit D. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, everybody's chomping at the bit for free agency. Hookerdo. M Hour. All right, M Hour. All right. You're gonna have to help me out with that one, man. Detroit D, I believe we get an edge on corner free agency and draft both positions and for depth and competition. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they're going to put all their laurels into one particular area. So free agency of the draft, I think they're going to try to mix it up. If you look at the structure of how they've tried to run free agency and the draft throughout their 3 years here, I think they basically really do value having multiple guys versus one particular guy, bigger name guy, because if that person gets hurt, now you're really out of luck. And I do think Brad Holmes has kind of talked about this, that they'd rather have depth and quality across the board than just a couple of, quote unquote, superstars supporting and controlling the team. So if that happens, then again, Awuzie and Mosley fit that description to a T. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this probably is more in line with stuff. And we'll see what I'm able to confirm with the end. But the end, it would kind of fit in with the Awuzie mindset in that somebody who's not old but not young, probably get him on a little bit cheaper deal and still leave a lot of room for competition across the defensive line. All right, Hookadoo, morning, Coach and the Duke crew members. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great morning. Detroit D, I look forward to Coach Dan and chat every morning. It's therapeutic for me. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, man, and hopefully you keep enjoying it. All right, burger time. Morning, Coach. Hope you have a due morning. Great show, as always. Woo! Thanks for that, Bergs, and I hope you have a great day, too, my friend. Yeah, man. Hey, Brett, hope you're doing better. Keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. 1,000%. 100,000%. Hookadoo. T minus 9 days and counting until free agency. I'll go with that. And yeah, we're all going to be sitting there by the next weekend. Man, rumors are going to be flying all over the place. Pan Cooley, what do you got? Grease and salutations, everyone. I can see Awuzie and Mosley. Awuzie is about the level Holmes likes to spend at. And that's true. If you look at, so use Cam Sutton last year as an example. Awuzie is probably around that type of level. Probably going to be somewhere similar cost-wise, maybe a little bit higher just because it's a year later. But the other part is Awuzie's a far better man corner than Sutton. And no disrespect to Cam Sutton, I think he's a great corner. I just don't think he's the elite number one corners, where Awuzie has been a number one corner for the Bengals. And I'll be surprised they let him go. But at the same time, if they haven't tagged him or whatever, he's going to be a free agent. And you know what? He is a Brad Holmes type of individual at about the cost level that you would anticipate Brad Holmes is going to go after. So it makes more and more sense the more I dive into it. All right, Darcy, greetings and salutations all. I could live with these two. Mosley is just an unknown if he can stay healthy. Yeah, 1,000%. And that's why I want to say last year his deal was in earnest about $6 million a year for a season, I guess, because he signed a 1-year deal. I'm going to guess it's probably going to be at that, if not a little bit lower this year, just because you've got 2 straight seasons with ACL injuries. Yeah, it's probably going to cost him a little bit of money. Boo, do we consider what a veteran free safety brings as a mentor? Development of our players needs more than coaches. Yeah, and I think there's some value to that, definitely, especially if you have the right guys that understand, hey, I'm not here for 20 years. I'm here for 3 to 4 years. This is my window of opportunity to go out and win something. I need to help develop and mentor some of these younger guys to help the team throughout the season and then the postseason. So I think you're spot on with that, Boo. All right, Detroit D, what do you got? If the rumors are true, Snead will become a Detroit Lion very soon. That would help our defense tremendously. Yeah, I've heard and seen lots of information on that. And if it happens, I don't think there's anybody watching this show that's going to be upset by it. What I will say for my own selfishness, I guess you guys have heard me talk for over a month now about how I think Snead is a great idea at cornerback just because his skill set, his traits, what he can do, etc. With all that being said, what it's going to cost to acquire him is where I think, would I do it as a GM? Yeah, I would. But I'm not Brad Holmes, and there lies where I have to try to differentiate what I would do from what Brad Holmes does. And, we've talked about it. Hey, go sign Hunter, go sign Snead or whoever else. But those just in the past do not appear to be Brad Holmes type moves. Brad Holmes type moves seem to be, I'm not going for those top tier guys, the top shelf guys. I'm going for the mid shelf and maybe even some lower shelf guys. So, I mean, let's be honest. All of this stuff is best guess, whether you're watching it here, reading it on, ESPN or Sports Illustrated or other YouTube channels. It's all best guess. We're all passing on what we've heard. I trust the guys I've talked to and established relationships with, for eons. But what at the end of the day, we're all saying what we've heard or whatever. I still think, while I love Snead to death, I just don't think it's a Brad Holmes type of signing. If he does it, though, man, let's be honest. We're all going to be jumping up and down over that. And then we're all going to be like, man, go get Burns, go get Hunter, go get somebody on that edge, and let's make this defense rock. All right, Boo, yeah, free agents. Okay, yep. Bruce, good morning and good luck this week, Coach. Seeing you and your team on the news last night, best of luck to you all. Yeah, hey, we're all chomping at the bit. We got a first-round bye, so we don't play tonight. We play Wednesday. And unfortunately, last night, one of our better players, just in a non-contact drill, went up to shoot, and just another player happened to turn, put the foot under, rolled the ankle a little bit of the player coming down. Hopefully going to be okay, but we're all holding our breath until trainers and everything really do a deep dive into that ankle. It'll be the most watched ankle in all of the team this for the next 72 hours until Wednesday. All right, Michael, what do you got? Greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation point! Woo! There you go, buddy, and hopefully having a great morning. Detroit D, let's not get too excited over combine numbers. Remember, the film doesn't lie. Yeah, combine is what it is, like it is in any sport. You're going to test players, you're going to measure them, you're going to get an idea for what they physically are capable of doing. Now, can you compare that and add in the mental component? A lot of people are great when there's no pressure on them, like in a combine or any kind of scouting test situation. And that's why you always want to reinforce those numbers with what the product is you see on the field. Try to find the truth behind it all. All right, Drake, greetings and salutations. Any word on non-corners the Lions might target in free agent? I hopefully will have something for you guys later today. I know I've already talked about it kind of. I did hear one whisper or something last night when I got the news on Awuzie and Mosley, but I have not been able to confirm that from anybody else. So if I get it confirmed, then I'll go on air with it. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. All right, Voltron, good morning. Good morning to you too. Here's my question. Are you the 5 Mighty Lions or are you the 15 Cars? And I don't know if there's another one beyond that. All right, Miles, good morning, coaching crew. I dream of pick sixes. Come on, Holmes. Let's land a real fine cornerback. We're a week and a half away basically from knowing if they're going to do something, but I've told you guys what I know so far. All right, Atman. Not to change the subject, but however, what about the milestone of Caitlin Clark? I mean, hey, that kid can score. That kid's a player. Getting to that level, and I get there's been some people that have gotten within a few hundred points, whatever, of Pistol Pete. But the fact that he got there, I mean, what he did was incredible, especially considering the fact there's no 3-pointers during his era. But for somebody to come through and break that record, I mean, that speaks volumes to their abilities. It shows what type of player they are. Kudos to Caitlin Clark. And I know she's going to now apparently take her talents to the WNBA and then overseas markets too. So good for her, man. She's advancing her career, and she's brought a lot of attention to women's basketball to the point where you start looking at some of those premium games, those ticket prices. I mean, they're starting to get up there. I mean, it's no joke. That sport is growing and evolving radically fast over the last few years. All right, Detroit D, the kid from Bama ran 4.5, and he's considered the top cornerback. Do you guys and Gales think his stock will drop? I'd say that's a fair question there, D. Obviously, everybody wants the cornerback with a 4.3 or 4.4 speed. 4.5 isn't, life-changing to me, but I'm also not the person in charge of making these picks. I want to say Branch's 40 time was probably one of the reasons why he fell to the second round. So it just comes down to, hey, I think the kid can play. I think the kid's also got the personality type that the Lions would favor. So keep that in mind. Where do I think he'll go? I'm going to say late teens, maybe early mid-20s. So probably just before the Lions can get to him if they so desired to go for him, at least without a trade. How about that? All right, Brittany, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. If the Lions can beef up the defense this year, we could really do something. Yeah, I mean, the offenses, shouldn't really go through any major changes, into next year and maybe even the year beyond. Panay Sewell is going to get paid. Amon-Ra is going to get a new contract, and I know there's more and more rumors coming out that it's going to be in the 24 to 27 million a year deal. He's going to get what he's going to get, and he's not leaving Detroit. I guess the big question is going to be, there does seem to be more speculation about Jonah Jackson getting somewhere closer to 18, 19, maybe even near 20 million. If that happens and goes down, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see where, if I'm the management of Detroit Lions or Brad Holmes in the front office, if you're paying Decker, you're paying Panay, you're paying Frank Ragnow, can you really pay a fourth offensive lineman, premium money? And I guess that will be the great debate. To me, probably not. You're probably moving on from Jonah. So it means you're probably having to draft a replacement and then, maybe sign someone like Glasgow to man the other guard for a while. But I guess we'll see what happens. Moonscar, game is tonight, coach, question mark, down to the Triple Ripple Dome. Yeah. It will be at the Triple Ripple. Yes. And man, you are from the area. If you know the reference of Triple Ripple for Three Rivers, but no, we've got a first round bye tonight. So we will not play until the late game Wednesday, which will be 7 p.m. Tip off. So, and again, hopefully our player's ankle is not that bad, but oof. Man, that was something. Listen to that scream, because that was hopefully okay. Don Detroit D at Detroit D. Exclamation point. Him and the Toledo kids seem nice. Yeah, both of them I think are going to get some looks at, and there's going to be a number of corners getting looks at. When we get a little closer to the draft, I've decided to try to do one video on, hey, from a scouting standpoint, here's what I see on these different positions. At least let you guys know what I'm seeing with them. Keep in mind, I'm not going to put a week into each positional group and break down that many videos. I just don't have that kind of time. But I'll go through, say, like the top 10 expected players at each position and just tell you, hey, in a 20-minute breakdown of these guys, here's what I came up with, and have some fun with it. Moonscar, starting point guard, healthy now, getting there for sure. Still is having some issues with the medication they put her on, just because had some adverse effects to it, like body broke out in hives, all that type of stuff. But got over the flu. But the medication they gave her for the flu or whatever it was, the influenza, yeah, just real bad reaction. And man, just talk about going through a rough 2 weeks. Felt for her. All right, Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Super Bowl or bust, 1,000%, buddy. And yeah, glad to get your text this morning, or message this morning, whatever it is. All right, Uncle Buzz, Snead is going to cost big bucks. I concur. And I think that is why, unless Holmes does something he just historically doesn't do, you're going to see it's probably, like I was putting in the thumbnail today. That's where I think Mosley and I can't remember his name now. Ozwiki are probably more ideal setups for the Detroit Lions. So, and again, apologies if I just killed the name. AJ, what do you got? Greens, salutations, Duke Crew! Exclamation points, back at you, buddy. Gary, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Again, same to you, Gary. Hopefully, having a great morning. All right, Detroit D. If we can land a big corner with ball skills, we run in the North for sure, and a home playoff games for the next 3 to 4 years. Yeah, and that's where I think the question's got to be asked if you're Brad Holmes. I mean, hey, it's an arms race. We've talked about it in the show before. The Vikings are probably the one wild card in the North for the next year, maybe 2. If they go after Kirk Cousins and do re-sign him, there's no way Justin Jefferson's leaving the building. They're going to pay him. He's just too generational, in my opinion, at least. But the Chicago Bears are becoming legit. And whether it's Broski or whoever in the chat, I'm going to say this, their team's doing a lot of good things. They're doing it differently than Detroit, but doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just 2 different approaches. So they're going to be around and relevant more than likely the next few years. And same with the Green Bay Packers. So Detroit, to your point, how in it to win it are you? And maybe it's just going to simply come down to, hey, Brad Holmes really believes in building to the draft and re-signing your own, where the Bears, are just going to go out and say, hey, we're going to acquire players via the draft, via free agency, and this is how we're going to go. And at the end of the day, which is going to be the right way, the wrong way? It's whoever wins, I guess. That will be it. But Snead, among other players, would be people I would target, but that isn't so in line with what the Detroit Lions front office has done in the past. All right, Detroit North, greetings, salutations all. Rumors regarding trade for Snead. Nothing I've really heard new in the last week. I just don't think to me, and this is just my opinion, no support to it whatsoever, other than just being my own opinion. I love Snead to death. I've hyped him up on this channel for over a month now. I think he's the number 1 corner available in free agency. And there's other guys like, Jalen Johnson, stuff that are not, bad corners by any stretch. I like Snead's physicality and his wingspan. When I watch him, to me, that's where he separates from some of the other guys. His radius around him and the receiver, where he can affect with his wingspan to disrupt passes, etc. That's, it makes him rare in this free agency class. Now, as physical as he plays too, yes, you got to live with a few more flags that he's going to get versus most other guys. But I'd rather have a physical player than someone that I've got to try to coach into being physical. That usually doesn't go too well. So in my opinion, could they go for Snead? Sure. It would just break trend or the norm if they do. And hey, if they do, I'll be happy with it, man. Gary, right on, Dr. D. Need a veteran, not a cornerback that comes with growing pains. Yeah, and that's where if you get someone in the draft, more than likely, like you're saying, Gary, you're going to probably have to coach him up for a year or 2. All right, Troy D. The Mitchell kid ran a 4.3, make him a top 10 pick, maybe the first corner off the board. yeah, the kid can fly, and there's no question about it. You watch him run. I mean, whew. Now I've got to see more of how he gets in and out of breaks, because if he can't do that, that speed, unless everybody's just running fly patterns against him or streaks, it's going to be really limited. But it'd be real intriguing to see the rest of the video, him going through the shuttles, the cones, etc., to see how quickly he can displace that energy and get in and out of cuts. He gets that, then yeah, he could fly up the boards, because somebody's going to look at his physical traits and say, I can help, give this kid some more experience and energy, help him change into. Sorry, somebody, James just sent me a message up here asking who the defensive end is. You have to wait till later in the day, and I got to get it confirmed from at least one other person. Then I'll go ahead and get on the mic about it. But yeah, Detroit, yeah, he could be the first corner off the board. All right, Ed, good morning, Coach Duke crew. Have fun with the mock draft. I'm glad you guys did. It seems like everybody, for the most part, enjoys the interactive mock drafts. And, as we get closer and closer to the actual draft, and once free agency is over, we'll add some more to it, and you guys can, have another 1 or 2 runs at it. Gary, they're talking draft. My bad. No, you're fine, man. Yeah, draft is going to be here in just a couple months, man. K-Pop, good morning. Good morning to you too. Boo, a lot is done at the combines besides clocking in drafts. All the teams, their coaches, our front office are here. Yeah, and you do get some limited interview times. You are limited to how many people you can interview them. And I want to say the clock is now at 15 minutes per interviewee. And I get, in fairness to the people that are being interviewed, you got 32 teams. And if you're one of the few that all 32 want to interview, I mean, that's a day of just sitting there talking. So the other part is if somebody gets 4 or 5, 6 different teams interviewing them, man, I feel for that person, because most of the questions are going to be similar. You're just going to get worn down how much every team later in the day that keeps requesting interviews, what do you really get out of that kid? Man, I don't know. That's a great one. All right. That's what we're kind of. Sorry, Bergs just sent me a message too. Bergs, I'll get back to you after the show is over. Ed, what do you got? Did we draft any of the same guys as in the first mock draft? I don't think so, Ed. I think they're all new this time. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think there was any similarities. All right, Detroit D, the combine is where all the deals get done before free agency. You're not wrong there. And don't anybody think that some of these guys, I know they're not supposed to talk until free agency actually hits, but let's also be real. Yeah, I'm trying to remember Kyle Van Bozen or whatever, the guy we signed right around 2014 from, I want to say it was the Titans that came in. Jim Schwartz and the representation were in his driveway ready to sign him right at midnight. So somebody talked to somebody before midnight. They didn't just show up at the door and say, hey, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And he knew to be awake at that time. So, there are some conversations happening already for sure. All right, Detroit, let's see, hit that like button. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. And if you would, hit the thumbs up button thingy. All right, Ed, thanks, Coach, for teaching us how and what to look for at the combine workouts. Hey, I'll throw as much as I can at you guys with stuff. And like I said, I'll try to do a video. Maybe we'll just do a live. I don't know. Maybe that'd be the easiest way to do it. You guys can ask some questions. I can try to answer them. I still haven't found a comfortable way to throw video up there without potentially opening up any kind of legal ramifications. So I get that path. If I get that figured out, I'll try to add video to it too. Detroit D, yes, bring Mosley back. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think he would be ideal, very ideal. Isn't it pronounced Bo? Not for Boo Booth. Boy, that I'll have to leave to him. Donkey Kong Super Bowl bust 1,000%, 100 billion%. And good morning to you, Donkey. Donkey Packers will be drafting Melton to pair him with his brother. That could happen, definitely. Ed, this year's draft is and combine is so different than the past. Yeah, they keep evolving. I mean, they're trying to make it more and more of an event, sort of like the NFL draft. They're trying to build it up so they get more viewership, more ratings, more sponsors, more money. How about that? Moonscar, which Alabama corner ran 4.5? I'll have to let you Google that real quick while I'm on air here. All right, Boo, what do you got? Yes, Gary, I tried to correct Dan, but meh. Sorry, man. My bad. So it happens. All right, what do you got? Tundra, what do you got? Kool-Aid and Ragshnau didn't attend the combine. I wouldn't be surprised if they fall to us so we can develop a younger corner. Yeah, I know with Kool-Aid, part of the reason is because of the fracture on the outside of his toe on his foot. So yeah, that's gonna take, I'm guessing, 4 to 6 months to fully heal. So I mean, maybe not that long, but how about this? He would be available right around the time training camp comes around. So somewhere in that time frame. Miles, Caitlin Clark, Clark, yeah, she is. She's, generational, I guess is what we can say. Gary, thought so. I played softball with Bo. All right, fair enough. All right, Ed, please do another mock draft. Free agency is over. Once it's over, yeah. Why don't we do that? Once we plan on let free agency get about a week done, there were most of the free agents are off the board, and then we'll go ahead and do another interactive mock draft. Bo Schembeckler, there you go. All right, good morning from Texas, says Dominic. Good morning to you too. Gary, yep, Bo the coach. Yes, Bo, he was the coach. Silver Server, good morning, coach and everyone. Mosley okay, but a minimum wage. I would think, yeah, it would be pretty low there, Silver, to see if he can still play after 2 years. Yeah, and that's where I think he's probably looking somewhere in the 4 to 6 million a year. How good do you think Owuske is? I think he's, I'll put it this way. So I haven't watched a ton of film on him. I did watch some last night, a little bit this morning before going on the air. I've done much more research on Snead just because when I saw some of his traits, it intrigued me, and I've had more time. So let's just assume, for the sake of this discussion, so for you put Snead on a cornerback scale, he's like 8.5 out of 10. Someone who is a 9 or a 9.5, that's going to be very, very rare. That's going to be your Sauce Gardners, I guess. So Snead is not far off from that guy, but there's enough things that affect him that he's just not quite that guy. So I would put Zwike at probably like a 7.5, where I've got our best corner right now as Sutton, and he's like a 6.7. So he's significantly better than Sutton, especially at man-to-man and being physical. And not that Sutton's not, it's just Sutton, let's be honest, he's not a big dude, and he's not a physical dude. So it would be an improvement definitely for us. But is he going to be as good as Snead? No, he's not. But he's not far off either. You're splitting hairs when you get to a certain extent, but those small details add up over time. And I think with what you'd have to spend in order to get Snead, it doesn't seem to fit with what Brad Holmes traditionally is going to do. So keep that in mind. Is that still you? Mosley coming back would be welcomed. Yeah, I would take that because, again, you get all these guys out there and you start having a pretty decent secondary. There's not going to be an elite guy, but boy, I forgot how to say his name now. But anyways, the Bengals corner, you'd be able to bring him in, and you know what? He's probably your number one. Sutton or Mosley would be your number two, and now Branch is going to be your slot corner. You've got some real depth out there. You can start moving guys around. And you know what? With your safeties, you've got everybody across the board who can cover. And I think that's probably the most important thing. You might have to do some things to help somebody with a particular corner, like a Justin Jefferson or whatever. But most teams, even if you got a Sauce Gardner, you're probably going to be in a situation where you're cheating somebody towards him to help out, to take away the true elite number one wide receivers. Moonscar, yeah, Boo, you're Boo from now on. Fair enough. Or Boo, sorry. So Bo, I'll just say that from now on. Bo, nicknames are endearing to the Do Crew family. There you go. Not Detroit. Dan, you are not on it, man. Didn't you hear? Question mark. Rocked On and Lions Syndicate announced the Lions are close to finishing the contract for Snead. They have videos on it. They broke the news first. I didn't know that, but if they are going to get Snead, then that will. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about it if it happens. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, and if Snead ends up here, I think all the Lions fans are going to be pretty happy about it. I would wonder what they're going to go ahead and get for him, though. But hey, one detail at a time. I can't wait for Snead to get here. That would be nice if he ends up getting here. Yeah, I wouldn't complain at all. Boo, what do you got? Or Bo, excuse me. A Moonscar. Better than JW John Wilkes. There you go. Thanks for that, Bo. All right, Anthony, I wouldn't trust anything those two dudes got to say. Both are self-absorbed. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to say, hey, could be good. We'll just move on from that. Gary, Steed would be the piece we need if we only have one signing. May it be him. Then draft edge / center, guard, and cornerback in the first 3 picks. That's not a bad setup there. Snead, hey, I'm all for the guy. This would really be a break a trend if the Lions went that route. And I've been pushing for him for a while. Think the dude's awesome. I will say this, though. If they go and get him, I would fully expect the Lions to then really try to go and get one of the premium pass rushers out there. Because to me, it would seem like you're in it now mode. You're win it now mode. And maybe they are. I'm hoping that happens because I want us to get to the Super Bowl and I want us to get that win. Is that still you? Bo, coach's version of names can be fun. Yes. I thought with yours, maybe he's need to read Killing Mockingbird. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. It's just how I am, man. And I mess up. I know when I first started doing the channel, everybody got on how I said, I'm going to try it now. Campbell. Because I want to say the P. And it's part of it, man. All right, Detroit D. I know, and Rocked On was first to announce it on his channel. There you go. Well, hopefully you got some good news there. Detroit, what do you got? Gary still needs an edge and DT vet. All right, we'll go with that. There are plenty of defensive ends and defensive tackles in free agency and a deep draft class of the same. The players, this plays into Brad Holmes' favor to get who he wants for a favorable price. I'm agreeing with that, Ed. I'm confident he will shore up the D-line. I'll go with that, man, 100%. Detroit, I think we end up with DJ Reader. Yeah, he's someone I've thought about just for the size and the mass. And let's be fair, the guy can play. I know he had, I think it was a torn pec, if I'm not mistaken. But he should be fully healed from that by now, or at least, pretty dang close, I would think. So if they're able to get someone like him and some secondary help, that would be nice. Boo, is that still you? I hadn't considered that. All right, excuse me. Bo, I hadn't considered that. Gary, I would love that, Dr. D, but talking about Dollar Store Brad, I would love Jones also. Yeah, I think everybody would love just the splash name guy, but we'll see if that's what the Lions do. Dr. Detroit, I think Reader is in our sights. That would be nice, man. I'd be all in on it. Hookadoo. Coach, that was my cat saying good morning. Well, good morning to the cat. There you go. John, Dan, have you figured out how much free agency money we would have after we re-sign most of our important homegrown guys? No, I haven't really sat down a ton with that, John, but I could. Once we get 1 or 2 guys off the board, so say St. Brown example, then we'll be able to figure out some of the other ones. And I'll try to get you an updated number. Demetrius, what do you got? What up, Doe? Woo! Good morning to you, and hopefully having a great morning. Moonscar, Coach, is that the start of the playoff beard? I see. No, I got to shave today, but yeah, typically I always shave the day before a game. Our last game was Thursday, so the last day I shaved was Thursday, and I'm going to go ahead and shave today because our next game isn't until Wednesday. Kind of let it grow out for the weekend, I guess. All right, Rate of Fire 66. Greetings, winning coach. Good luck in the playoffs. Greetings, salutations, do crew. Can't wait for t-shirts. Big Bear of Big Bay City. Well, good. Hopefully having a great morning. And yeah, I got to work on the t-shirts thing. I'm going to get on that. I will. I promise. All right, Gary, free agency is taking so long to get here. Hey, man, we're getting one day closer. 9 days to go. Thomas, remember after Bugs left, the rushing averages went up, ! Not necessarily the yardage, but the rushing averages went up. We've got to get the tackles back and stop the run. Yeah, we've got to be able to stop the run. And it seems like they're really committed as a franchise to say, hey, we're going to be able to run the ball and we're going to be able to stop you from running. Try to make teams one-dimensional, both on defense and offensively when we're on D. All right, Detroit D, we need enough quality corners for when we play pass-happy teams like Green Bay with a trio of wideouts. Yes, I would agree with that. You got to try to limit their impact as much as you can. Thomas, if Mosley signs with Lions, I would give him guaranteed $3 million with another $4 million in bonuses. There you go. Yeah, maybe some escalation clauses and stuff like that, incentive-based clauses. Yeah, I think you're onto something with that. Detroit D, still think we should go after LaShawn Lattimore, even if we get the corner from the Bengals. Yeah, hey man, I know you and I have talked about Lattimore. I like the guy. I think he's pretty legit, and he's kind of about the same age and setup as the others. So could it happen? I don't know. It'd be nice if we got them both, but probably getting one and then Mosley, that's probably more realistic or in line with Brad Holmes, what he likes to do. So would you trade the first round pick and Goff and Hooker for Justin Fields? Oh boy. That'd be a lot to give up for Justin Fields. And I think you could probably get Justin Fields if you really wanted him from the Bears, and assuming they're going to move off him, keep that in mind. If they're not going to trade him, this wouldn't hold water. But I would say if they draft Caleb Williams, or if they're going to go that route, you probably get Justin Fields for a second or a third, somewhere in there, and it would be my guess. Would I trade all that for Justin Fields? No, I think that'd be way too much. Would I be interested in Justin Fields? If I'm not committed to Goff or a Hooker, or if I'm not sold on them both, then maybe. But he still needs some room to growth. But man, I could imagine him in the Honolulu Blue, but I don't think that's going to happen. All right, Thomas. I still say we get solid players and free agency, and then do what we can in the draft! Exclamation point. Reason free agency can suck up all of the cash needed and put you in rear end in the hole for a long time. Yeah, and that's where, I don't doubt anything Brad Holmes or MCDC has said about, hey, we're going to fill in some spots in free agency. We'd rather have a lot of good players across the board than just a couple of superstars. I think they're being fairly honest about that. I know we all want them to get the superstar player in the springtime because it makes some headlines. It gets hope and morale up, makes you really anticipate where we're going to go as far as the following season. With all that being said, I just don't see Brad Holmes doing it. I think most of us probably at some level probably get that. I just think that them adding 2 or 3 players that are kind of mid-range players is more in line with what they like to do versus adding one superstar player. Could be wrong, though, but that's at least my initial thoughts on what we should probably anticipate this free agency. Man, D. Stewart, that would be a disaster for the Lions. Yeah, it could be. To make the trade and everything, yeah. Robert, what do you got? I think the Fords have a lot to say about why Brad Holmes is a dollar store GM. Just my opinion. It could be. Maybe it comes from the top. Maybe you're right, Robert. Maybe it's not just what Brad Holmes likes to do. Maybe he's under some sort of commands about it. Yeah, I don't know. If this was William Clay Ford and all that, he just didn't care. He let the GMs do whatever they wanted, and I would say Chuck Schmidt and among others just did what they wanted to do. As far as Hamp, I think she's in it to win it. I think she's in it, and I base a lot of this on what she spent to upgrade Ford Field's field last year versus I think it was originally in line to come in either the 2024 season or maybe even the season after that. So, she spent some big money to get that stuff done now versus waiting because she knew how the players would respond to it, and they did. They responded saying they were very appreciative of it. We'll see what shakes. Gary, heck no. Heck no to that. All right, we won't make that trade. Ed, we are one injury away from having a serious situation at O-line. I would agree with that. Do we have the backups necessary to keep Goff upright? No, and that's where I really believe this year they're going to try to address some of that. Now, are they going to do that in free agency and the draft or just the draft? I don't know. All will be foretold in the upcoming months. Let's see. Thomas, edge is more important than cornerback. I'll go with that because, hey, the faster you get to them, the less time those DBs have to cover. Coop, I don't think, quote, the Fords are dictating Holmes being a bargain shopper in free agency. It could be, man. Nobody really knows, but I probably agree with you. I do believe Brad Holmes, this is just who he is, man. this is how he's going to handle the Bucs. And you know what? Hey, he seems like the right guy for the job. And Don Kong, defensive back is more important than edge. All right, fair enough. We got a debate going on here in the chat. Thomas, film is 10 times more unimportant than combine numbers. Just saying. Oh, I agree with you 100%. I probably use this example way too much on the show, but you look at Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice ran a 4.740, and I don't think anybody's not drafting Jerry Rice. You look at Brian Branch. I don't remember what his 40 time was, but I do believe, going off memory here, that's why he fell to basically the second round, is people had questions about his 40 time. You look at Hutchinson. I mean, he wasn't the number one overall pick because of his his arm length and his hand size. I mean, the numbers in the combines, I think most of us agree, are probably overblown in the grand scheme of things. Yes, you do get some guys with some flash numbers that you're like, man, we got to get him. But at the end of the day, if you can't play that particular sport, the numbers don't matter so much. You need to combine, in my opinion, the numbers with the film. If the film suggests one thing, and now you confirm it even more with the numbers. And the third component is when you do your personality evaluations. Now you've got as much information to work with as realistically you're going to be able to acquire on said individual. So yeah, don't take any one particular aspect of them as the holy grail. You need to combine, in my opinion, all of them in to try to find your norms. And then the other thing I would probably throw at you to combine the personality trait with what you see on the film, look in pressure situations, big game moments. Hey, it's 4th and 12. Can this quarterback process that information and complete those bigger passes, 60% of the time, 70, 80% of the time, because that becomes your norm over time. The more you look into it, can this guy, make the big stop on a premium wide receiver? How often does he do it? Does he get roasted on this route or that route more often? Can he not get in and out of breaks fast enough? And to me, the regular game, blowout games, okay, that don't pay attention to that stuff. But you want to pay attention to when it's meaningful, late in the game, pressure situation, because that's when your personality really kicks in. Not everybody responds to pressure moments great. And I know I've talked to a lot of you guys before in the past. One of the best players you could ever evaluate, or I ever evaluated, was his last name was Keys. And he was a basketball guy. You would have thought the dude was Michael Jordan. As long as the score was either his team was up, 15, 20, 30 points or down that amount. If he got within 10 points, and that I remember evaluating him and I seen it happen a few times, I was like, this is starting to show a trend here. That game gets tight in his mind, under 10 points, whatever. He couldn't bounce the ball off his legs fast enough, air ball shots. It just, something would click in him where he could not handle the pressure. And because of that, my recommendations on him weren't very high. Outside that time frame where the team was up significantly, that's where I was like, man, this greatest dude ever to touch a basketball. But you look into that in other sports too, tennis, golf, football. Obviously, we're talking about football, but there are just a ton of people there's an internal component with them. When they start feeling pressure and duress, the things they're able to read out of a defense in non-pressure situations, it just changes. Their brain can't process that info. They miss people wide open. They miss this read, this pre-snap read, post-snap read, or whatever. And not everybody handles that very well. And that's why you don't see a lot of people succeeding, especially at the quarterback position in the NFL. That's when that switch gets flipped, that person falls apart. All right, Redefine Raymond, what do you got? Coach, can you draft Caitlin for the playoffs for injury replacement? I'm going to see what I can do there. Maybe we can sign a contract, get a sign and trade. That would be nice. All right, Thomas, Donkey, I disagree. If the deal takes like 5+ seconds to get to the quarterback, if the D line takes 5+ seconds to get to the quarterback, DB is not important. There you go. All right, Miles, post combine, I'm looking forward to miscues and confusion from general managers everywhere to hide their intentions. Let the games begin. Yeah, and the games, they're gonna totally go off the board. And could it be that the Lions are gonna sign this player when really they're looking at this player? And we all get it, man. We've all been around for a while. That's just part of how it all works. Great Lakes, I think they'll sign a top-notch free agent cornerback and draft an edge. There you go. I'll take that. Great. All right, Great Lakes again. Jackson is gone. Too many injuries and too much. They'd rather keep Glasgow. I think there could be a lot to that. Bo, what do you got? Bo Booth, what do you got? Schemes within schemes, wheels within wheels. There we go. Thanks for that, Bo. Harrisville, if your corners can lock good wide receivers down on their own in man-to-man, you can blitz safeties and linebackers, get free agent cornerback, and draft some edge help. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with what the desires are. Phil, what do you got? Pass rush, way more important than cornerback. If I was going to spend the kind of money Snead wants, I would do even in my power to get Hunter. I would do everything in your power to get Hunter. Yeah, Hunter. I'm surprised that Barnes is still, basically being talked about. And I get there's whatever a couple days left where you can still slap the franchise tag on him, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm just surprised it's even gotten this long. I don't see the value if I'm Carolina. But there's other guys for sure. Who's the other guy? Josh Allen. I want to say the non-quarterback Josh Allen, the defensive end. I'm surprised that hasn't happened either yet. Gary, this may be Decker and Rags last year. Hope Brad addresses it. Yeah, and I think you're not far off with Rag now. Decker, I still think there's some potential he could extend his career if he want to switch inside to guard. We'll see if that's something he wants to do, though. Thomas, Detroit D, I'll just say this. Any young man coached by Nick Saban, I'm taking them. Fair enough. All right, Phil, good morning. Good morning to you, Phil. Bo, Alabama, Iowa, and Michigan connection. There you go. Thomas, St. Brown to get 24 to 27 million. That's insane. I think it's probably going to be right around there and probably a 4-year deal. Tim, hold my beer. Let's trade JMO for Snead and maybe get an extra pick too. Oh boy. I would think Jameson Williams isn't going anywhere at this point. One never knows though. Ed, NFC North is more even this year on paper, though I hold a bias towards our Lions. Yeah, we're all Lions fans. I totally get that. Let's not kid ourselves. We need better coaching to go over to the new talent acquisition. To go over with the new talent acquisition. Yeah, and it sounds like, as we're all aware, Lions have signed quite a few interesting new coaches to the staff. Now, let's see where they all take us from here. Thomas, what do you got? This is why we cannot go out and get high-price free agents. If we want to keep our own players, ticket prices will be $500 each for nosebleeds. Yeah, and I really do believe this front office wants to resign the guys they've drafted first and foremost, sprinkle in a few free agents here and there. That's why I'm anticipating one of the factors. I love Snead to death. I don't think he's going to be achievable for us. But again, if they do it, then that's a real sign that the Lions are in it to really push and win the next 2 to 3 seasons. TaylorMade, if the Lions draft a cornerback, he's got to have some hands if they need him to run back kicks. Yeah, and that would be a potential option for maybe some of the cornerbacks being brought in if they can do punt and kick return as well. All right, Thomas, Glasgow is a must resign because of what he can play. Yeah, he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. He can get all over the place. Bo, keep your strength strong. No way to let JMO go. Too much invested. Yeah, and too much time and stuff. And I think he's just starting to hit his peak. Philip, there's no way I would send JMO for Patrick Mahomes. All right, all right to Patrick Mahomes. That'd be something if Patrick Mahomes got him though, wouldn't it? All right, Anthony. Listen, our DBs can only run so fast, and they personally they're covering as they the person they're covering. They can only run as fast as the person they're covering. Yes, I would agree with that. Bo, guys that ran the fastest 40 at the combine have not been the most productive players in the NFL. No, there's definitely some disparity between the two. Thomas, I hate to say it, but there's not that many players that are, quote, generational. We've had a generational running back, and we had a difference, made a difference. We also had a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Calvin Johnson, who won basically nothing. No, you got to have a lot more than just that on the team for sure, especially in something like football. Here's Phil. Cleo Mack wouldn't break the bank. No, and I know there's talk about him being traded or released, and maybe even Kyle Vandenbosch. Thanks, guys. Yeah. All right, Gary, the Texas receiver that Michigan screwed up in recruiting Still mad about that. Set a record of the combine 4.21. Yeah, that's flying. That is off the charts fast. Bo, scouting show. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll plan on it. We'll go ahead and do that. Phil, any word on the Lions job you applied for? Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of summer work for them, helping in their media department. But it wouldn't be a long-term position. It'd just be for summer help. But one thing I've learned in life, you start small and it leads to other things. So I've worked with at least one of the people in their office before, and that's basically how it popped up. So it'd just be some summer fluff stuff, story stuff, things like that. Anthony, combine to me only gives you some information. The players don't tell you 2 years from now what the player is going to be able to do. No, you're 100% right, man. It's a multitude of things you've got to try to get and work together to uncover the truth, basically. Gary, 173 are now watching, only 18 likes. We need second half comeback, guys. Smash the like button and support this channel. Yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. About 50 subs away from 6,000. And as far as the likes stuff, if you're enjoying the content in the video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Vincent Stells, what do you got? Good morning! Exclamation point. Is free agency March 11th or 13th? I want to say it's the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So the 11th at midnight to kick off that day. Bo, mock draft and free agency. Yes, I'll go with that. Kurt Steele, the infamous one. What up, Doe? Not too much. How about you, man? Hopefully you're having a great one. JDC, Magic 8 Ball says the Lions will tackle better next season. Let's hope the 8 Ball is correct. Brent, good morning. All mock draft was fun. Hey, everybody's been asking about you, man. Hopefully you're doing well and having some fun with that and recovering. Detroit, Dr. Detroit, Dan, I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, I kind of figured, man, but one never knows, man. Never know. Trump, woo! There you go. Dr. Detroit, what up, Kurt? Bo, sarcasm in the D and in the Lions crew. I'm down with both. All right, Trey, Snead is going back to Kansas City, and he's Cam Sutton 2.0. I'm good on him. All right, fair enough. I'm down with that. Kurt Steele, the doctor's starting-ish. All right. Gary, Anthony, thank you. Don't watch them because it's all about the attention they are getting. Can't stand that. My list is Sports Talk Sports, Locked on Lions, and Do Man Dan. I'll take that. I'll go with that. That's some very good group to be in. Trump, no way. If we give up draft picks, yeah, it doesn't seem like that would happen to me. But who knows? I've been wrong. Dr. Troy, always Kurt. All right, LOL. Kurt Steele. Brent, Snead seems too expensive for a Dollar General brand, but I hope not. I'll go with that. Yeah, it does seem to make sense there. Anthony, just saying, who do they know that would have a breaking news story like that? That I can't answer. I don't know either gentleman particularly well, so I couldn't answer that. All right, Kurt Steele, I'm start doing content again as soon as I finish the second Masters at the end of this month. At Dr. Detroit. I can't wait for you to be back, man. Anytime you want to be on the show, you let me know. Dr. Detroit, yeah, I've been ghost for a minute. Hey, he's putting in that grind time. David, get Snead and draft edge. Corners take a couple of years to develop, and we are in win now mode. Edge rushers can be ready to go year one. I'll go with that. Yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that, David. All right, Kurt went back to school for a master's in PR. There you go, and congrats. Bo, congratulations, Kurt. Bo, I'm working on it, man. Dr. Detroit, nice. Kurt Steele, thanks. Bo Booth. Sergeant Kurt Schultz, already have splash name guys. We already do, yes. Curtis Schultz, all right, fair enough. Let's see, Kurt Steele at Schultz, who's the splash name? Yeah, let's find out. Dr. Detroit, hey, Bo, Boo, let's a fantastic picnic basket, Yogi. Yeah, find a picnic basket. All right, there you go. Lattimore over Snead. Yeah, and I got to imagine the price to acquire would be significantly different there, Trey. So, yes, I'm with you on that one. Anthony, I'll handle T-shirts. Coach, give me the word and have the designs I sent. See what the Duke crew thinks. Yeah, I thought everybody responded to pretty well. Bo Booth, yes, the Yogi picnic basket. There you go, Boo Boo. All right, Dr. Detroit, I can't see. Onsawaka and Reader, yeah, if you can get them both, that would be awesome. I mean, all of a sudden that defense would be exponentially different. Granting Q, greetings and salutations. Sorry, I'm just getting on. Did the deal go through for Snead? Not that I'm aware of any kind of deal, but I mean, maybe I don't know at all. So there you go. Maybe there's just stuff I don't know at this time. Trey Snead is not even the best corner on the Chiefs. McDuffie is. There could be some argument to be had for there for sure, but he's the best free agent quarterback from the Chiefs. How about that? I don't want Justin Fields. No, I think most people do not. All right, Gary, Jordan Love and the Packers are going to be right there with us this year. Jordan Love is the real deal, and they have some great pieces on both sides of the ball. Yeah, the Packers do have a legit team, and you know what? Look at how they've built their team consistently for 30 years. I do think the Lions are trying to mimic that a great deal. All right, guys, I got to get going. It's already been over an hour. I'll try to give you a little bit of overtime, bonus time, whatever. If I can get some confirmation on the other defensive end, I'll get on the mic to you guys later today, probably closer to noon, maybe a little bit after that, because I know I've got a little bit of work today. But if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also, hit that thumbs up button. Otherwise, I'll see you all whenever the next Lions Talk Live may be. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.